It's Discoveries of Learning, and all of you are heartily welcomed. We had already discussed many things, and we were discussing about the importance of educational institutes. Educational institutes were very much required as per my point of view. Every knowledge that our previous generation had discovered or gathered gathered the person who were brilliant enough the persons who were brilliant enough were recorded and documented it for the next and the future generations. And these recorded documents always helps us to do the thing properly from their experiences, or even better. And this sort of things which were cultivated from the personal skills or personal discoveries of the previous generations brilliant minds, were methodically and properly documented to obtain the required goal of the society. This sort of required knowledges were make understood to the present generation or next future generations with a typical manner or methodical manner, so that it could be understood very easily and which may create a next base of the society, which will further develop more and more. Considering the very little considered matters from our day-to-day life, that we used to eat many things, we have to eat, but our previous generations had discovered what we can eat, how we can eat, and which will be best to our body, and what will be the procedure that would give us the optimum required power from that food. That is from the very beginning of cultivation, how it could be cultivated, what type of soil will be required, at what period it could be cultivated, and what type of seeds or any other type of uh, things which will be better for root or stem, that could be better for the production of or cultivation of that crop. mm, that crop and how or where to be, uh, how to harvest, and after harvesting how it could be made over to considered as a meal to a person. Mm. The necessary required uh, instruments, equipments, and machineries for the cultivation, harvesting, everything. All things were actually they had given us a base. That is, we may consider how to pest control, how to use control pesticides, insecticide, fertilizers, this sort of, and organic fertilizer, organic pesticides, and many other things were or after that dietitians, many different parts. This just having food having food is a vast department, vast department, and were divided into many branches, many subgroups, many things. Which just think that this, how to eat, what to eat, is a very much huge subject. If it was not transferred, the knowledge was not transferred from the previous generation to next generation, how can it be possible? Like a jungle people, we may be like a jungle people if all knowledges were deleted from our whole of our human beings brains. Or if we don't know anything, how to eat, how to harvest, how to cultivate everything, then it will be from the very initial stage. We have to, whether the apple can be eaten or not, that will also be a first question. If we will erase our all the memories that have in our mankind's mind. Okay, then very simple it was. And next thing is, that is also very simple thing from our point of view, and sanitation, use of toilets, natural calls. We have to eat and go to the go for natural calls. But for urbanization, toilets, septic tanks, the innovation of septic tanks, anaplamps, the bacteria which have the septic tank, the design is also very necessary for the establishment of a society. It is designed that which were developed by our previous generation were also very recognizable invention, for which, if consider, if we had to go for such type of things, such type of natural course in the morning or evening for a field, to consider for a city like here having metropolitan status, how big such type of area should be there, so that the whole civilization could exist, so that there should not be there should not be any sort of diseases that were spread from such type of things. Simple, which nowadays is a very simple disease like diarrhea, which is very much easily curable from the point of view of medical science, from the from our from the well equipped medical system at present. The diarrhea, if it was at the past years, if such type of simple diarrhea can be spread throughout the villages, I should not think that it would very easily be controlled. Actually, mankind is surviving through the gathered knowledge only till date, from my point of view, and the knowledge were well transferred from previous generation to present generation, and present generation the knowledge should be transferred to the future generation, so that they could be able to discover more and more, and make it more more beautiful, and surviving is more easier, and all required facilities for health, and this could be understood, and from every point, social point of view also, how we could coexist with each other without hatred. We are the mankind, we are the human beings, and for some sort of boundaries, very much boundaries, we are hating each other. It should not be considered as favorable for development of mankind, and development of for medical issues, for aerospace technologies, for nuclear powers, electricity, and generation of prime moving powers, and transportation, so that goods or human beings can safely at present, at least within our globe, men can very much safely goes from this place to that place. Goods can be transported in a very safer way, and a faster way. These technologies were actually shipbuilding, aircraft building, aerospace, missile technologies. These foundations were basically given through the educational institutions. We always obtaining the basic foundations from educational institutions, and which at this point I also mentioned that some sort of things are we are getting very easily via through money. We are getting, actually money is also, and money is also a ruling commodity of our life, ruling commodity. Money is also, which is of which is the main source to obtaining luxuries, obtaining recent developments such that using the recent developments. Money and money power is always been used. If we see the history, money power were always been used by the uh, by the by the generations and generations humans to entertain themselves, and they actually could not understand the basic knowledge about the uh, commodity that they are using, how it is working, how it works, mobile, how network is coming here, how can it be, how data can be transferred, what is data. They many persons using very very high priced mobiles for just for show. They don't know how to use all functions. Everybody could not understand all functions, but minimum functions they could not understand, but they are using mobile phones. Or what is mobile technology, or what about this, they don't understand, as because they were not getting basic knowledges. Just to they were running a automobile, but they had no knowledge about how a automobile run, how it in what are there in an automobile, how it moves, what are the gears, how are the trains, how the heat energy of fuel were transformed to a kinetic energy, or how it is moving. They don't understand, but luxurious cars and motor vans were run by that sort of persons, and these things, many persons many uh, kids, actually I shall use the word kid, childrens were demotivated that we can use just we can go for a YouTuber trend, or so and so, or such type of startups, or so-called things we can easily do. And why should go for educational learnings, why should we uh, go for so much tough education, uh, tough sections, tough parts. Education is not a very I think easy thing to understood everything thing by just reading it and making some sort of very simpler practicals. It is not also very much easier to understood all educational parts which were given to us. But uh, these, I shall say that these are the knowledge that that making our mankind survive in this world, if we think about the environment or jungle environment, how many physically strong or there are many physically strong and animals. If we will also behave like an animal, or we will go for only food and go for natural cause without getting knowledges, without obtaining required precautions to safeguard us, then uh, we can't compete with this type of wild animals. Does a human being could fight with a wild elephant or wild tiger, bare-handed? These sort of heroic things could not be done by a normal person. But we had gathered or learned our skills how to uh, make a wild animal domestic, and domesticization of all animals, and that and getting the beneficial part from the environment were learned, actually learn from the nature itself by our previous generation. And these sort of things somewhere skills that how can we make our wild animals domestic, make our domestic one transform to a domestic one. These were skills, but it could be transferred from one person to other person practically, and methodically they can also documented it also. But these sort of things, if we make it in a larger way, and what could be how an elephant and the cows or domestic animals could be make healthier and get more benefited from their parts. How can they be make make in a they be how we can go for animal husbandry. This will go to this will create the departmental part of a department of veterinary section. It from from we can also see that from skills more from one skill to another skill and gathering various skills, various parts, we can making a educational uh, educational department such as animal husbandry and veterinary science, agriculture. How can paddy fields be prepared? What type of uh, what type of fertilizers will be best? How can we make them or make them best for human beings? Organic fertilizers, many things we don't know actually. They are the part of agriculture department. These sort of things were and this sort of were recorded. The skills were recorded, documented, and after that they understood the they understood the importance, and they transferred it to the present or the from previous generation to next generation. So why For the survival of this universe, actually from very beginning, this survival of mankind and this world, this knowledge should be given from the previous generation to next generation through educational institutions, and what are the disadvantage and advantage were also to be taught to the next generation, so that greenhouse gases emission of too much greenhouse gases is too much greenhouse gases, actually not greenhouse gas. If there is no greenhouse gas, then the world will not survive. Too much emission of greenhouse gases and too much greenhouse gases in the atmosphere will not favorable for mankind and environment. That should also be understood, and that sort of things should be transferred from, and the knowledge that we understood that what to do should also be that we should go for electricity generations, which is green electricity generation without emitting greenhouse gases, without completely without emitting greenhouse gases may not be possible, but very less, such as to manufacture a wind power generator, manufacture a wind energy power plant requires to emit some sort of emission, greenhouse gas emission, but it will in a minimized way, but is longer used to get green energy will make it lesser emission of greenhouse gases only during manufacturing. And then if greenhouse gases emission will be favorable one, and then if we get green electricity, then nowadays coming out electric cars or many other the prime moving electric trains, bullet trains, and if we power our ships and submarines with nuclear energy, and if there we can go for alternative energy sources for aeroplanes or airspace technology also, then it will be favorable for our globe. So these sort of things where we will understand the knowledge, and we will get the knowledge from educational institutions only, basic knowledge from educational institutions only, and from very beginning, from starting from very beginning, we are to understand the language. We are very, it is the best way and quick way to understand how to learn a language too. We had to communicate with each other. We had to we wants to we have to make our thinkings to understood by our fellow friends. If there is no language, if we could not read and write, and we could not transfer our knowledge through any other medium, reading and writing were also taught in the we understood everything very easily from the educational institute only. For this session, last but not the least, the educational institutions always plays the role for giving the base or foundation uh, to the future generations that is going to run this world, and it is the most efficient way to understand or learn the procedures and the related present worlds related, and what we can do, what we can discover, and what we can invent in future generation to this newly coming fresh generations, though what whose says that we are the present generation, you are the older generation. These new generations were always taught by the older generations to survive in this world and to do better in future. And these educational institutions actually plays the vital role. Simply we can say that these educational institutions are the optimum way to transfer present knowledges to the future generations. Okay, thank you. Hope to meet you again.